have that development skill in-house. They don't plan on developing the super robust e-commerce, funnels, whether it be email, whether it be Facebook Messenger flows, whether it be like some of the more advanced features that Shopify, you can literally just install an app and bring that capability into your store. Weebly does have a web app store now. So some common things such as Yotpo, such as different SEO tools, you can still find a tool. It's very, very affordable. So when you look at the pricing, you're talking, there is a free version, so it doesn't get much more affordable than that. And then if you want to use a custom domain, we're down to $6 a month. But I think it's really important, and the point you made, Wes, that we're talking about what is the use case. So if we're just trying to build the brand and trying to build the awareness of it, and we're not really trying to push e-commerce, this is a good solution if you want to build a website. Now, let's talk about the client or the company who really is just struggling for resources. They just don't see how, with COVID, with everything that's going on, cash flow is a little bit tighter. I don't want to open up this whole, worm's nest of an e-commerce website. And I think that's something that Victor was touching on yesterday in our team meeting. Something that I think is worth sharing with everyone is the Amazon storefront. So the Amazon storefront continues to get more and more improvements, as you and I have seen.
I love the Amazon storefront now.
Yeah, I mean, it's
last
just
6 months. Yes,
I agree. I mean, it's just getting more robust. Then you tie in Amazon attribution, and now you're able to really, create a similar experience for a consumer. Let's say we're running a Facebook ad and we're using an Amazon attribution link, where instead of driving them directly to one of our detail pages, we're driving them to this.
Yes.
So what that allows us to do is start really, courting that top of funnel traffic on Amazon without building our own e-commerce site. So
no, definitely, 100%. I hadn't thought about this, Sprigley. That's an excellent resource, because Amazon gives you a good, you can create your own style, or you can use their templates, and they've got some nice design there. And a company can actually build out a store in a day easily, and then take that framework, and it's very easy to take that same framework and roll it into a Shopify or even a WordPress and that kind of thing. But
absolutely.
But I'm not trying to circle back to a website again, but one thing I did want to mention about the Amazon storefront, and I know you were going there, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the thing that I love about the Amazon storefront, and it's so underused, is that now we can put detail on there that we couldn't before about your warranty, your product's quality, call out, now they've brought over things that used to only be available to A+, premium, sellers. They've brought some of those features into the storefront for everybody, and, get them off the detail page, get them to the storefront. There's no extra Amazon advertising to pull them away to a competitor on that page. You're kind of bringing them into a place where you can upsell you can just be so diversified in what you show them. And I encourage clients all the time now to create that sub page for your product, whatever it is, and speak to the features and the quality and the warranty, and then drop them on that page versus a more generic Amazon product with just the review section. Really get creative with it. And I apologize to kind of jump in, but I was just
no. I mean, absolutely. It's the idea of the round table. And I saw Tyler, I saw you join. Welcome.
Yeah. Hey, Tyler.
Just a heads up. This is our second time running it. We did not market it or kind of promote it in any way. So if there's still some technical difficulties, I apologize.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see you. Hey, Keys, nice to see you as well. If you guys want to ask a question, there's a button at the bottom where you can go to Q&A, and you can actually leave a question down there. So what we're doing right now to just kind of bring you guys up to date is we're talking about does a brand that's selling on Amazon need an e-commerce website? And we kind of discussed that. We've been going through that. And now we've been really touching on, and let me share my screen so that you guys can see. For context, we're talking about the Amazon storefront. The Amazon storefront is something that, as Wes had mentioned, has really evolved in the last 6 months and is serving a more and more important purpose. I believe Prime Guidance has either or will be shortly posting an article about Shopify shops. Facebook is coming out with Facebook shops. A lot of these guys are really doing their best to bring their traffic back to their own website and keep it there. So when we look at this from Amazon, I think it's got a lot of legs, and to your point, Wes, it's basically a small website now.
Sure.
So it's something that a little side note on a super high level on a technical thing. One experiment that I'm running right now, and I've actually seen some success on, is I'm SEOing my Amazon storefront.
Yep.
So I'm actually proactively building links and SEOing my storefront in the same way that I would for an independent website. And I've been seeing great results. So on one of my brands currently, when you do a search for my brand name or any of the absolutely vital keywords, I've actually taken over the entirety of the above the fold SERPs because of the Amazon storefront. So that's just a really cool way to take more of that search share.
Sure.
With that storefront.
Well, you're starting off with some incredible, domain authority and all of that anyway. So take advantage of that. That's an excellent underused resource. I hadn't even thought about doing that, but I'm making notes now.
Well, and
you guys both make great points. And sorry to jump in there, but I always look to adjacent industries to see what challenges they're having, and especially as it relates to branding and the customer experience. And I just I'm very food focused personally. So I got an email from Red Hot and Blue, barbecue place. And they said, hey, please, place your order directly with us for Memorial Day. You can still order from Grubhub or DoorDash or any of the other places, or you can order from us direct, probably partially to control some more margin, partially to control the brand experience and to build a greater connection. So you see that same fight going on, with the small independent restaurants in the industry, and how they need to use both ecosystems and still have control over their brand.
Absolutely. And I think, one step further than that. So we've kind of talked about Amazon e-commerce marketplace. Now we're talking about kind of the general marketing for brick and mortar. And then I think one last macro trend to just add on to that is click and collect. We're seeing a massive increase in people looking for solutions for click and collect. So I think it'll be curious to see how Amazon reacts to that. We've started to see Shopify stores already acting. I've been watching the App Store for Shopify, and there's like 3 or 4 new apps, it seems like, every day trying to tackle this click and collect. So to your point, Doug, kind of having that locality, having that ability to interact with people online and market online, but then drive them back into your retail location is going to be fundamental for COVID recovery, because we need to get that foot traffic back in the door. And right now, the best way to reach those people is digitally, like you said, via email, via text, via, there's different avenues. So, how do we leverage those to get those guys back into the store? It looks like we did have a question from one of our attendees. Awesome. So Christine asked the question, how often should I update my Amazon store? I think that's a phenomenal question and something we should touch on. A lot of people, and hey there, Edward, saw you join. I see a lot of people create an Amazon store and it's kind of set it and forget it. They'll build it and then they'll launch it and then they'll walk away. And that is a huge mistake, because with that Amazon storefront, we have some incredible insight that we don't anywhere else. So on the storefront, we can get demographic data. We can see who's visiting. We can see what sex they are. We can see what age they are. We can see a tremendous amount of demographic data that Amazon doesn't give us anywhere else. So for me, I'm always watching that data. I'm seeing who's interacting with the store. I'm seeing what elements of the store are getting the most interaction. I'm using the storefront, that home page, to push products that either I'm launching or I'm trying to liquidate. That your featured product should never be the same. It should be following the strategic need of the moment. So to answer your question, Christine, I personally will review my storefront on a monthly basis. So I'll go in and I'll review it once a month, and I encourage our clients to do the same and to really use it as a marketing tool, not just a static page. Thank you for the question. Wes, or Doug, do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, I was going to ask you your opinion about taking the Amazon storefront, and if you're a little bit light on content, taking a page and dedicating it to something like a product of the week or a product of the month, where you dedicate, perhaps some video or something like that. Had you thought about doing something on the Amazon storefront to encourage customers to come back to your storefront and possibly, bookmark and come back and look for almost kind of like a blog, but on Amazon?
Yeah. No, I had not. Not something I've tried.
Okay. We had discussed that with a client last week, and it's something that I was going to play with and haven't had time yet, because I haven't seen any reason. Have you, Sprigley, that Amazon wouldn't let you do that as long as you're encouraging it to come in? And
no.
So there was that. But I was going to ask you this. What are your thoughts about whenever I'm doing this for businesses that I've either helped launch or businesses that I've run before? I'll go look at, it doesn't have to be in the same industry, but I'll go look at other companies, and I'll always be careful who I'm looking at. I mean, don't go look at, look at them, but be careful, but look at other companies that do things right, or companies that do things that, and some companies do parts of things right, from the whole picture. So as far as like warranty, we have a client, are we allowed to kind of talk about our clients at all, or, well?
I mean, I think on a very high level, like I wouldn't mention any names, but.
Okay. Well, we have a client that sells shirts, and their guarantee is basically lifetime guarantee, threads, tears, whatever. They will replace the shirt, forever.
Okay. I actually need to know who that is, because I might buy from them at some point. So
exactly. Right. Because when I heard that, I was guarantee. I had to actually go listen to their, watch the video about it, because I was like, there's no way for life. No, but the company is Grunt Style. So,
okay.
Cool. But, that's a very unique, warranty style. And I'm not saying that you have to offer lifetime guarantees on your products, but at least look at that and try to think of a way to make your warranty, your guarantee, your pitch to that angle unique, because
Absolutely.
that brings in clients, and it's also a way to utilize inserts on Amazon to drive traffic to this new website that you're talking about. It's a way to drive get that click capture going,
Sure.
but also look at how other companies funnel and how other companies navigate through the storefront. Way too many websites that I've seen make the navigation difficult. I can tell that maybe like an engineer designed the website and not a person that, but the product that they're selling isn't an engineered product. It's, but it just makes it's very, logically thought out, but it's hard to navigate.
And I think something that something that came to top of mind when you were mentioning that is the consistency. Sure. The consistency is so key, so that we have a consistent experience for the customer on the detail page. We have a consistent experience for the customer on social. We have a consistent experience in the Amazon storefront. So I think that is, and like you're touching on there, I think that's absolutely vital. So having that consistency. And to your point, Wes, so let's say, and I take it back, I have done what we were talking about, kind of modifying storefronts, because I usually do that for Q4. So as we roll into the holiday season, throwing in some images, with some very nice holiday thematic imaging, I've done before, as well as running kind of holiday promos. Don't really have a definitive ROI on that, but.
Okay.
But I wanted to just jump in here and say how often should I update the Amazon store? I was thinking to myself, well, of course, when it needs to be updated. And I think you really hit the nail on the head, Sprigley, when you said, is it consistent with your messaging today? Did you update it anywhere else? And does it look any different? Does it feel any different in the Amazon store? So at the very base level, it needs to be updated and current. There should be nothing that reflects older content.
Absolutely.
And Sprigley, on that topic of content, I know I've got my opinions about this. I know you and I both have done SEO for a long, long time, since before SEO was tough.
Exactly. From when it was fun.
Right. Yeah.
Respect to all the SEOs.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah.
It's,
no, totally, completely.
It's a tough game.
Yeah, but yeah, we won't go into the things that we used to do.
No.
We've talked a little bit,
This
but
is being publicly broadcast. We
yeah.
don't
So, but I wanted to get your opinion about, you've got your Amazon marketplace. And by the way, I'm sorry, I fell asleep and my kids painted my nails. But you've got your Amazon marketplace. You've hopefully spent a lot of time.
I think you painted your nails just to stand out from Spriggly. I think
I did. I was trying to get that's my hook, But you've spent all this time, hopefully, optimizing your listing, making the title, really hook people. The images, catch your audience. The bullet points are descriptive and they match. They follow the theme of your images down to the page. So now that you're building this new website, Spriggly, and you're doing this e-commerce push of your own, what are your thoughts about taking the content from Amazon and copying it and pasting it over to the website?
Phenomenal question. And I think this is a question I've had probably 3 or 4 times in the last month. Mm-hmm. And I've thought deeply about it each time, because as an SEO, duplicate content is a serious problem. One of the tricks you may use with your own e-commerce website. I know for a fact that some of the people on this call have websites that have done this in the past, that you can create microsites. So you can take a single foundational piece of content. I know you know this, Wes, but I'm just for the audience.
Sure.
Take a foundational piece of content and then run it through a randomizer, or manually randomize it. Or if you're really lazy, don't change it at all, and create dozens and dozens of microsites that you can then direct links from those microsites back to your main e-commerce site. And that, in days past, was a very good way of increasing your organic rank. I'm not advocating people do that today. SEO is a much more complicated topic today. I'm still pretty active in it. I know Wes still plays around in it. That is something that, if any of our clients or a potential client did want, to discuss, we could go really into the roots on. But just saying at the 10,000 foot level and answering your question, Wes,
sure.
I don't see a problem in duplicating that content because of the domain authority that Amazon has, and because of their unique presence in the internet ecosystem. I'm pretty sure that Google's algorithms have taken into account that there's going to be duplicate content between manufacturer's website and the marketplace. I saw this in real life happen with eBay. So back when I was really heavy in SEO, we would see duplicate content on eBay all the time. I don't remember which update it was, whether it was a panda or a penguin or some other cute, fluffy animal. But they did an update, and I saw instantly my ranking changing where I had duplicate content with eBay, where I had been held down because of this problem for months and months and months. And they did an update to remedy the fact that there is duplicate content, and we saw a nice jump up. Now, whether or not that's still true, I don't know. So don't quote me on Google's kind of practices. But no, I don't see any problem at all. Let's take that content. Go ahead.
Let me take it a step further for you, though. So let's say you're a manufacturer that you've been around for several years. You have maybe a brick and mortar store, maybe a couple, or maybe you're a manufacturer that has no brick and mortar. You sell through other distributors, that kind of thing. And you're launching on Amazon, and now you decide that you want to do your own e-commerce direct as well at the same time, run that in parallel. But let's say, for example, now you've got 40 other distributors out there that are taking your content for all your products, literally copying and pasting it on their website. And now you're doing the same thing on Amazon. You're doing the same thing on your website. And possibly even thinking about rolling into Walmart now, because COVID came, COVID happened, and now everyone's on this diversify your fulfillment. I think somebody had a webinar.
Hey Wes. If only there was anybody who was saying this, 2-3 years ago, but
well, or listening, right? Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, no, I get it. But so what is your opinion about that when you've got?
I think it's too much for us to try and figure that out, is my answer, because so for instance, I'm working with a client now. We've signed on with Rakuten affiliate, and we're going to really run with developing a super strong affiliate business with Rakuten. And one of the insights, and I used to be a big time affiliate marketer too. It's a business I enjoy as well. But if you want to be successful in affiliate marketing, one of the most foundational parts of it is providing amazing creatives for your affiliates. So if you want to be successful, you need to provide them with the banner images, with the written content, with all, you provide all of that to your affiliates. So having the ability to, have an incredibly high quality, product to share with those affiliates that they can share with their customers, by definition, means that all of those affiliates are going to have the exact same creative.
Sure.
So I don't see, so I guess that's not really answering your question. It's answering your question with another question, is like, if that's allowed in affiliates, and if we're allowed to do that in advertising, I just don't see there being too much of a blowback around that.
Okay. Well, I was wondering your opinion about,
working with, so when I've worked with, so I think it's also important looking at the size of the company, right? So if we're talking about enterprise level, companies, they're most likely on a PIM, product information management system. And if they're on a PIM system, then we're syncing with a lot of those distributors. We're syncing with a lot of those wholesalers, and we're actually pushing our content to them. So they're not even modifying their own content. They're not doing their own thing. And we set that up so that we do have that level of control over the content. But those tools are hundreds of thousands of dollars. So generally, I'm not too concerned about it. I think would be my 2 seconds. And I think we've got, I think somebody just chatted it too. Wes chatted to all of our attendees, the same thing I was thinking. Tyler, Edward, you guys, this is very much a practice run. If you guys have any specific questions, we have myself, we have Wes, we have Doug, we have Victor out of sight, who is a mini chat guru. There we go. There's Victor.
There he is.
Shout out.
We've got Christine, who is the ultimate vendor guru as well as an
Yes.
FD. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to shoot them up there. Tyler, especially, I know in our conversations, we've talked a lot about advertising, and Wes is an absolute savant when it comes to advertising. So if you have any specific questions around advertising, and then Edward, I know that we've talked in the past, even in this group, around Amazon infringing on our buy box, Amazon taking advantage of gray market product. I don't think that's really worth kind of bringing back to life in this forum, just because we know the answer. But I know that you're tackling like a million other things at the same time. So if you guys have any questions, feel free. But otherwise, it's going really well. I like this format. It works great. And I like the conversation and the way that we're kind of able to discuss things and like kind of really open the topics up to like all the different viewpoints. I think it's super, super valuable.
Well, and I'm personally in charge of off topics, so anytime we need to divert away for the neck pillows or barbecue or something like that, that's what I'm responsible for.
So just a quick question, Doug. What is Prime Guidance's official stance on COVID-19 masks and the government reopening? I'm just kidding. Don't answer that.
I'm glad.
But, did we get any questions, Victor?
So I'm going to throw a topic out to you because every time, I say every time, I would say that one of the things that I look at whenever we've onboarded a new client, that either they have a lot of opportunity for, product, product expansion, growth, optimization, or if they've done an excellent job of that and they're looking for us to, find, some gaps where we, where they can improve things. The first thing I kind of go, not the first thing, but one of the top things that I go to is I go look at their, edit listings, or I'll download their category listing report. And I look at specifically how thoroughly they have filled out all those extra fields that nobody fills out.
Yeah.
And what I do is there's so two things I want to call out there, and I want to get y'all's opinion about it and kind of get your feedback. So one, the fact that the majority of sellers on Amazon really don't work hard at their listing, and so take advantage of that in your category. Be that person that's thorough. Go grab that category listing report. Look at those areas that are not filled out. Can you fill that out?
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but just for all two people, category listing, you guys, you need to go into help, case, request help, and then open a case, asking for them to authorize the category listing report. Keep going, Wes, because
Sure.
What you're talking about here is so key, and no one does it.
And I'm going to so to continue there, it's fill out those columns that are attributes to your product, and then I want to show you one more thing here. This is a mobile device. So what's the updated stat, Victor, Doug, Sprig? Do you have it on how many shoppers hit from a mobile device now versus desktop? I think it's above 45% now.
Yeah, I want to say it's around the 60-70% range. I don't know the 2020 stat, but I know it's somewhere around there.
Yeah, I saw two.
And I think it's important that we talk about life cycle. So that's why you guys may have two very different numbers there. Is like the percentage of people who check out versus the people who shop. So to your point, Wes, people are shopping on mobile. The habits that we're seeing is that people are going on mobile, they're shopping, they're doing their interactions, and then they're going home and they actually do end up making the purchase on their desktop still at a high level. I think that's why you were looking at maybe that 45%.
Well, and let me tell you how that happens, because if my wife is any indication of like the norm so she is on her mobile phone putting things in the Amazon shopping cart, and then I go buy them on the desktop. That's per the instruction of my wife yelling, "Hey, there's things in the cart, go get it." So
and I don't want to discount the third way things get into that cart, which is the Amazon Alexa devices.
Oh, Alexa, yeah.
So like with Echoes, we've also seen a really big increase on usage of these virtual assistants, these voice assistants, on adding things to the cart. And to your point, there's some fun stories with kids receiving way too many Christmas presents because they figured that out. But it is important. And
I was just going to ask, for you guys personally, have you ever ordered anything simply directly through Alexa without confirming pricing or validating a comparison or any of that? Have you just trusted it to fill the product and get the best price product for you?
So for me, I wouldn't consider it like a shopping experience. It's more of like you would ask an executive assistant, like, hey, can you go get this, right? So for Alexa, it would be like, hey, can you order this specific thing? And if you're ever on Amazon and you're searching and you want to see what Amazon would choose, there's actually a badge called Amazon's Choice. And what that is if you do a search and you do a search for Tyler's sake, if you do a search for flea and tick collar for dogs, the product that shows up with the Amazon Choice badge is the one that will be ordered via the Echo.
For that keyword phrase, yes.
For that keyword phrase, exactly. And so there's ways to manipulate that, and that's another conversation that I think, especially, we could sit around and talk for like 10 years, but it is actually a really valid strategy that I've used with a number of clients to try and, to acquire that badge and then be the product of choice for specific keywords.
And what's the highest percentage you've seen acquired through that process with any of your clients? Let's say that refrigerator filter, what's the highest percentage that were fulfilled through Alexa or some other device?
Refrigerator filter, I'm not sure. I did mine with a, let me think of the best example. Best example would be linens. So like mattress pads, sheets, linens, so that we optimized for 100% cotton sheets. So that was the specific term we were going for, and we were really hard on it for about a month and a half until we got the tag. And then those products on that keyword saw increases of 30-40% in terms of conversion. So because it not only affects when somebody asks for it via the Echo device, but actually when they're surfing through the page, they don't know what Amazon's Choice means. They just see Amazon's Choice. So similar to the bestseller tag, the bestseller tag, Amazon themselves will tell you that you'll see an immediate 20% increase in sales.
I know personally the Amazon Choice tag has at least influenced me, and it gives some sort of sense of credibility, but normally I'm viewing that from a desktop browsing experience.
Right. Absolutely. No, I mean, I think the voice thing still has to be figured out, but I think it is worth keeping on the radar. If you guys don't mind, since we didn't get any specific questions, but I can still see who's here, and I know some of the issues we're dealing with, I'm going to show an example of a product. that one of our attendees sells. And what I want to do is explore solutions for getting better reviews.
Can I stop you for a second? Because I just want to
Sure.
call out for anybody out there who watches this later that you were in incognito mode when you were doing a search. So that as an Amazon seller, when you're investigating or looking at other things, incognito mode does what? Sprigga doesn't let Amazon cookies influence your search?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, I mean, at the end of, thank you for pointing that out. So at the end of the day, it's not going to be perfect. Like, if we wanted to like truly get the perspective
of a customer.
We would have to bring in software, because Amazon also changes your search results based on your physical location. So even if you're in incognito mode, if I'm in Denver, Wes is in Texas, and then we've got some of our attendees in Colorado, some are in California, some are in Florida. Everyone who looks up, if everyone looks up Zogard right now on their incognito window, there's a good chance that there's going to be a difference in what products show up based on their physical locality and where there's inventory. There's actually some cool tools right now that I'm playing with that it's amazing how it'll change throughout the day. So like, well, I've been able to watch inventory get received in specific warehouses.
Okay.
And then the search results change.
Yeah.
Once that product's received. It's incredible stuff. So control over inventory, which we are not going to get into because we only have a few more minutes, but that is a
no, yeah, but show us this project, man. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So let's actually do Salvo. So these guys have an awesome product that compares directly with some of Seresto, which is owned by Bayer, some really large, companies. And one thing that we've been running into is wanting to improve our reviews and our listings because it's a great product. And we've just gotten a few packaging came open, cheaply made, kind of a common instance that we run into with our products all the time, where there'll be a troll who comes on there. That's, somebody's in a bad day. They're having a bad mood. So at a very high level, what are kind of those key elements for improving the review count? And I'll go ahead and start just because I broached the topic. For me, I feel like having a strategy in place to constantly be filling in positive reviews. You're always going to get negative reviews. It's going to happen no matter how good your product is. Honestly, if your product is the best of its type, you're probably going to get the most negative reviews because a lot of your competitors are going to be proactively trying to bring you down. Sure. So you need to have a strategy in place to constantly be bringing in positive reviews.
Great point.
Some of the ones that, we are big advocates of in Prime Guidance is reaching out to feedback. So when people leave positive seller feedback, they oftentimes will reference your product and they won't understand that they're leaving feedback for the seller versus the product. So having a system in place to follow up with people who leave positive feedback, encourage them to leave a positive review. I have found to be a very cost-effective and easy way to start getting reviews. And then there are some platforms, and we don't need to go into detail on what they are, but there are some platforms that allow you to offer your product at a promotional price. And then you have the ability to interact with that person post-purchase. These are platforms, they're not review platforms. That is not their purpose. They're sales acceleration programs. But because you have that ability to contact the person, remember, they've already gotten their product, they've already gotten the promotion, they've gotten the discount. In no way is it contingent on them leaving a review. But just having the ability to follow up and begin a conversation with the person, I have found to be very effective in getting reviews in that way as well. I'll stop there. I don't know if Wes or Victor, if you guys want to touch on some of the cool stuff we've been doing in ManyChat as well to help garner more reviews, or any other ideas you have, Wes.
Well, I'll let Victor hit ManyChat. But the one tip that I will give that I have found to be extremely effective, it doesn't, at least the last time we were successful, because as you know, Amazon changes all the time. It doesn't change the star review, but I encourage my customers or my clients to always reach out to every single review, good, bad, neutral, otherwise, especially neutral and bad reviews. And like, Sprigga, I think you put the dollar amount on it. $700 was what one of another seller out there at the Prosper Show put a value on a 5-star review. But-
just to qualify that, you guys, the person who put that dollar value and it was actually $750 is a top 5 seller on Amazon.
So what I encourage all of my clients to do is spend the time, reach out on those bad reviews, and I don't care what you have to do, get that customer, build a relationship, build up that trust, and then get that customer to alter and append their review. And while the star count may not change, I believe Amazon still does the update on that review.
Yeah,
and in my opinion, well, because here's the thing. How many of you guys have gone to buy something? How many 5-star reviews do you read versus how many 1-star reviews do you read? That right there, a 1-star review
true.
appended to good review is worth 10 or 20 5 stars. If you can get those consistently and get a couple of those on your account, I mean, you're golden. We've done that on 3 different products, and I'm telling you, PPC went down, sales went up by 25, 30% over time. And we actually started calling it out in our product pages. But I'll stop there. Victor, jump in.
No, but that I want to add on to that because that is freaking genius. And it's something I've been doing, but I've never actually sat around and thought about why I was doing it.
Right.
And the fact that people read those 1-star reviews. I was on a call with a client yesterday and they put it beautifully. They're like, think about it this way. If that person who leaves the 1-star review and it's like a paragraph long, right? Because the 1-star reviews are never like one word. Like 5-star reviews are like 5 stars.
It's great.
Awesome.
It's perfect.
1-star reviews are like 1 star. Here's my book.
Right.
And what they were saying, and it really resonated with me, is like the squeaky wheel, is always going to be the squeaky wheel. So if they're that adamant about 1-star review and being upset and angry, they're most likely going to be that adamant about having the company reach out to them, make them a priority, spend time with them.
They're asking you to.
So it reminded me of one of the brands that I've worked with. And there's a gentleman, Edward, who's one of our attendees who works there currently. Over the years, we've run into some customers in that brand who were really, really aggressive and really, really, I don't know, just problematic.
I know what you're going to say, though.
Yeah, I had other words, but about, ingredients or about, just,
right.
For instance,
they're very vocal.
One customer, when we first started selling on Amazon, misinterpreted the lot number for the date of expiration.
Thank you.
Just went absolutely haywire on that topic. Some of those guys have ended up being our best brand ambassadors years later because we spent the time and energy. So I think, Tyler, that's a really good call out for us. If we can find some of those, customers who have had a less than ideal experience and just spend the time going out to them and massaging their ego, we oftentimes do see, a transition from a really irate 1-star to a, best case scenario, super enthusiastic 5-star. In my experience, it normally ends up more at like a 3.5, 4, because they'll come back and they'll say like, hey, the product didn't meet my expectations, but man, that company was amazing. Their customer service was awesome.
Right. They're trying.
Exactly. And that for me as a consumer gives me the confidence that I'm looking at this product and I see 2 or 3 other from really large name brands that I know and should trust, right? And pay the 30% premium because of that brand name. And then I see this other guy who's got less reviews and, is a newer player. I'm not familiar with the brand, but he's got a killer price.
Sure.
If I go down
or even a higher price in some cases,
well, sure,
it's worth
absolutely.
it, Yeah.
And then I see that, hey, every single time somebody had a problem, the company made it right.
They handled it.
I'm going to buy that product.
So I'm going to throw 2 things out there again to you.
Ahead,
is that one, how many of us have cell phones and have some kind of a satellite or cable service, huge companies that are just, known for not really following through on customer service. So it's a trend that larger brands are not taking care of their customers. Be that person that takes care of your customer and follow through and build that trust. Exactly. I'm going to stop there and say, go find the Amazon principles. I don't have the link on me. Go find it, print it out, put it above your work desk and live by it as your company for service. Second, I just wanted to throw out there. So Apple, I worked at Apple engineering for about 6 years, and Apple had a system for their customers they would acknowledge the customer's issue, align with that customer, and then assure that customer that they're going to get that resolved. About 4 years ago, they pivoted a little bit from that to that plus exactly what we're talking about. Take that bad situation and create a promoter. Exactly. Because social media, it's key. When that person writes that book as a review on Amazon and you flip that customer to a promoter of your business, they're going to go write that same kind of stuff on Facebook and and if you're younger like Victor, not old like me, they'll be on Instagram. And I'm kidding. No, I was told that Facebook's for old people, and I was like, oh, okay.
Great. Kidding. I use Facebook.
I'm kidding. I give him a hard time all the time for it because I think Victor's like what you're like.
No, well, I think you're making a good point there, though.
Sure.
Every audience does have a totally different, social media, network of choice. Doug, I think you were going to say something.
Oh, that's all right. I'm still practicing, jumping in. But me coming into with my adjacent industry theme, the one thing that I know gives me confidence when I'm shopping for hotels is when I see those bad reviews, and then there's engagement. And my thought is, management's engaged. They're trying. They're responding to every negative review. They're not just ignoring or hiding the negative reviews and only responding to the ones that said, I had a great vacation. Oh, we'd love to have you back. And then the ones that say they're negative, they're like, good riddance, don't ever come back.
No, sure. Amen. I think it's a really good point. And I mean, none of this stuff that we're talking about, let's be honest, none of this is earth-shattering, groundbreaking, new, creative, original. We're just taking standard best practices in the business world and saying, how do we apply them to an Amazon business? So thank you, Doug, for kind of bringing in that parallel story and seeing, how that works. So Victor, or as you are known, Stephen Yates, let's talk about ManyChat and how we can leverage ManyChat when it comes to reviews.
Yeah, so the most popular way is to obviously give it away for free and do the rebate, find by, and then once they get it for free.
Well, let's just pause right there. I apologize for interrupting, but just for the attendees on the phone, for us, that is so simple and everyday. But what search, find, what was that? And could we kind of build out a little bit some of that vocabulary?
Yeah, so we send out the ad on Facebook. And then we say, hey, get this product for free. In return, give us some feedback. And then people will click through a messenger flow. And all it says is just go on this search term, type this search term in Amazon, go and find the product, buy it, and give us the order ID. And then once we verify the order ID, we're going to reimburse them in some form. And once we reimburse them after 20 days, 18 days, whatever it is, we will ask for a review product.
Gotcha.
Most of them, more not 50% or more, end up leaving that review, which is really good when product launches. So not only are you ranking for that search term, you're also getting 5-star reviews in the process. Gotcha. So, and that makes it really, really amazing for product launches, for any other getting high rankings, or any of these really competitive search terms. For certain categories, you have to do it because it's so competitive. Because if everyone on the first page is doing it on a large scale, these small guys don't have any chance of getting on that first page. Right. So some of these people have to do it just to even get on the first page. So it's an option.
Can I throw out a question?
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Darryl Sprinkling, go ahead.
All right. I just wanted to build a little bit on what Victor was saying there and just clarify. I do not know of a successful brand on Amazon that does not drive external traffic.
Oh, no.
So in today's world,
the key there is successful.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was on Amazon. I started professionally selling in 2011, 2012. It was awesome. I used to go to Costco. I had my phone. I would, scan UPC codes and then be like, oh, no one's selling this FBA. I would go home, I'd ship it into Amazon, and I'd make money. It was great. Yeah. It was fun. That is not the world we live in today. So if you want to compete in any of the competitive verticals, and thanks for bringing that up, Victor, really on what the categories are. So if we're talking about, so for our attendees, if you're talking about pet health or you're talking about beverages, you're talking about two incredibly competitive categories. So having a regular methodology for sending external traffic into Amazon is foundational. And with ManyChat, we're able to, as Victor said, hit so many different KPIs at the same time. So KPI, key performance indicator. So we have one KPI, new entrance into our ManyChat audience list. So one KPI is just growing our audience list. These are people who are interested in our product. These are people we can advertise in the future. These are people we can build a relationship with. Another KPI is the ranking. So using a search, find, buy strategy, like Victor kind of elaborated on, there are other strategies that can be taken as well over super URLs, there's just a lot. You can also have a KPI being your organic rank on a keyword. Another KPI is getting your reviews and getting that positive social proof on your listing. So that's one of my favorite parts of ManyChat, is that for one marketing effort, for one advertising effort, I'm getting so many different results that I can then build with. And the tool, just so that our attendees are aware, that we use in Prime Guidance is called ManyChat. And ManyChat has been positioning themselves $10 a month now.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
it.
super affordable. Yeah, and you can actually start for free, and then the pro version is $10 a month. Syncs up with your Facebook, and honestly, it's mostly WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So it's very simple to build out the flows. And if you were to run into a problem or anything of the sort, you have a great resource in us to figure that out. But yeah, what were you saying?
I had a question there. So Sprigly, Victor, have either of you, because the majority of the time, are you using Facebook Business to send in your advertising into the ManyChat funnels?
Most of the time. I've done tests for landing pages or using Amazon as the product page, and basically sending the traffic directly from Facebook into an Amazon product page or even an Amazon promotional page. But we just didn't see the results there. I don't know if it was the category or the targeting, but we seen ManyChat as the ultimate guide to guide people to Amazon almost every single time, even in promotional pages and in Amazon product pages. The messenger usually always outperformed the landing pages almost every time.
Okay. Well, and what I'm asking is so are you normally driving that? Is the source of your traffic the Facebook, Facebook ads or Instagram ads, or are you guys doing it through other channels as well too? And I'm going somewhere with that, because what I was going to say is we talked about Sprigly earlier about how you're geo targeting or watching your how Amazon is loading your sponsored ads. And we can all tell where our inventory is at by FCs in reports on Amazon. I'm wondering if you guys have ever geo-targeted your Facebook ads to try to locate the places in the country where your products may have a better geo advantage a little bit. It's that one extra metric, but I'm just wondering if you guys have ever gotten that specific with your advertising into ManyChat.
Not proactive. Sorry, go ahead, Victor.
Oh, I was going to say, if you use the customer list and create an Amazon customer list lookalike, Amazon or Facebook's already doing that for you, kind of geo-targeting that area. So say if it notices that all these people from this zip code or whatever the zip code, address, whatever it is, are buying it in this area, it'll start testing the waters with that lookalike audience from Amazon, and it'll start basically targeting based off of that. Either that, or you can bring in that Amazon data into, say, like our dashboard or whatever, and you'll be able to see it by state, by zip code, or whatever the most obvious where a lot of people are purchasing. So if I see a lot of people from Texas buying, you can make that decision based off the dashboard, based off the lookalike, and then target from there.
Okay. So. And I'm going to play devil's advocate, but so Victor, you just said though that you can get your Amazon buyer data from Amazon and then export that and get it into your Facebook audience?
Yes. Yeah, you can.
Really? How do you do that, Victor?
I just did it like literally an hour ago.
Well, I think it's really important, you guys. I'm sorry to interrupt. Really important for the attendees, for anyone who's watching. We're not advocating that we do that. Okay. We are not suggesting that you take the Amazon data and you use it in any way to drive business on your website or anything like that, what we're doing is we're kind of painting a picture of options
Sure.
and what are the different tools and what's capable. And I think when we talk about that customer data, Amazon is so confused as to what they want to do. They change their mind constantly. I mean, I was in an account yesterday where we couldn't get a lot of that customer data via any methodology we tried, and then I logged into another account exact same time. We're able to pull that data. So I think it is pretty inconsistent right now. So I think that's important for anyone who's watching. If you try to replicate some of these things and you're not seeing the same capabilities, it does seem to be kind of all over the place. But to answer your question, Wes, on have I gotten that nuanced? Not proactively, but I've had to reactively. So what I mean by that is I've launched campaigns, search, find, buy campaigns, where everywhere I checked, I was in those first 3 pages. It worked, no problem. But then I started getting messages in from people interacting with the flow saying, we can't find it. Your product's not there. We do the search for the keyword, but it's not there. And so that, then led me to configure my VPN to pretend to be all over the country and start experimenting. And absolutely, I should have taken that into account, because there was whole swaths of the country where we didn't show up. I mean, in virtually any search, where in other parts of the country, we're on the second page. So, keeping that in mind moving forward, I think is super.
Sure.
So I think we're at the end of the timeline here. And I so appreciate everyone's time. I hope Tyler, Edward tried to kind of guide the direction onto some topics that would provide you guys some value. So hopefully we got some value out of that. Victor, great job freaking emceeing this. You're amazing. And let's, I think our goal here is that we're going to try and, start having these and inviting other people to be participants and starting to do, really trying to make this a value, kind of an informal round table. So we'll be here next week. You guys feel
next
free.
Friday at 2 p.m. Central.
You got it. Yep. And which is 1 p.m. in the civilized part of the country.
Oh.
And thank you guys, everyone, for your time. And Victor, how do we end
have
this?
a great Memorial Day weekend.
I can end it.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later.
Cool.
Happy selling,
Take
you
care.
guys.
See you guys.
Take care.